Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be the first trimester recap really. Any advice or tricks and tips, I'm sure you say that the other way around normally, tips and tricks to help anyone else who's in their first trimester. Because I remember when I was in my first trimester, and because I'm currently in my second and I'm just getting around to filming this, but I remember being in my first trimester and like googling but also on YouTube, just trying to find other people that had put first trimester videos up, because it can feel really daunting and really lonely. And I think that's what I'm going to touch on first, is the kind of emotional kind of feelings I got in the first trimester, and hopefully you can relate and you can find something in this video that makes you feel a little bit less alone, makes you feel like, oh okay, that's normal, that's fine, or even just to find some sort of comfort from this video. The first trimester when you're pregnant is really overwhelming in so many ways. It's in so many good ways, because you're just finding out you're pregnant, you're kind of so overwhelmed, so happy, you're like, oh my god, like the initial reaction, seeing the test, finding out you're pregnant, all them feelings, any feelings. But then you also get the worry, you also get the anxiety, the thinking, okay, I'm pregnant, what do I do now, what's the next step, what happens now, how do I get in touch with my midwife, how do I sort out this aspect of it, how do I tell people, how do I, it is just an absolute, sorry that's my phone, an absolute roller coaster of emotions. So if you're currently in your first trimester and you're feeling just like all over the place, please give yourself some credit and please give yourself time. That's what I would say, give yourself time to adjust and to settle into the you know, reality that you're pregnant, and don't force yourself to feel any way. Don't force yourself to be like ecstatic, feeling happy 24/7. Don't get me wrong, being pregnant is an absolute privilege and an honour, and I'm very privileged to have gotten pregnant. And anyone out there right now who's trying to conceive, who's going through that journey, I really feel for you. And I was lucky in the end because I managed to get pregnant, but there was a time that I didn't think I could, and even that aspect of it was scary. And like anyone watching this who isn't pregnant, who is pregnant, seeing that negative test is very, very tough on your mental well-being. So when you then get pregnant, that feeling of sheer just feeling so grateful that you was able to, but also honouring and your journey and how you got there, whether it took you a month to get pregnant, whether it took you a year, 3 years, 5 years, 5 months. If you're still trying to conceive out there, I'm wishing you all the baby dust vibes, good vibes, positive vibes, hugs. But why I went on to that is because when you find out you're pregnant after, you know, seeing a negative test, it's very overwhelming and just like, oh my god. And I just remember feeling so excited to be pregnant and in that moment, but also so freaking scared because you just don't know what you're doing. Whatever way you're feeling in your first trimester, and that also however you're feeling throughout your whole pregnancy, is okay. And don't ever put pressure on yourself to start feeling happy 24/7 if you're having a down day. Because at the beginning of pregnancy, in my first trimester, I suffered quite a lot from sickness, and I think quite a lot of people do in the first trimester. And I have got notes on my phone that I have wrote down of all stuff that I experienced in the first trimester to go over and talk about. But like some days you just feel crap. Like you just feel crap, you just feel sick, you feel run down, you feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I guess I'm just trying to say that's okay, and that's how I felt at points in the first trimester, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't force yourself to feel happy 24/7, because we are humans and we experience emotions, and we're meant to because we're human. So let alone being pregnant, having hormones on top of that, it's crazy. So yeah, the first trimester is very emotionally, well, for me personally, it might not be for you. Sometimes it can, you know, just stir so many different emotions. And like, I did struggle with feeling a bit lonely, because obviously you have your family or your friends or whoever you have around you to support you and comfort you, but at the same time they obviously don't know what you're going through, unless, even if they're pregnant, it's still going to be different, because every woman, every person is different when it comes to pregnancy. Someone might experience something that someone else doesn't experience, and so no one truly knows how you're doing or what you're kind of going through. And it's really tough in the first trimester, because not a lot is changing in your physical appearance, so it can be very easy for people, sorry gas, and even yourself, to kind of be hard on yourself and think what's going on, because you can't see any changes, you can't see a bump, oh my god gas, you can't see a bump, or you're not like, there's no physical changes. And for someone else who's not in your body, for them not seeing any physical changes, sometimes it's hard for them to get it or understand what you're going through. Because first trimester, and by the way, I'm no doctor professional when it comes to pregnancy and stuff, I'm literally just speaking from my personal experience, that is it. So I hope that comes across, and I'm not trying to say this is exactly textbook what each trimester is going to be like, or this is exactly how you should feel or think. This is honestly just me speaking from what I experienced, to hopefully just help some other person out there who might be going through something similar. So, but yeah, yeah, it's hard for other people to understand because not a lot changes, whereas you're the person in the first trimester that can feel so much happening. The hormones start, your body is starting to do so much already, and it's so hard to communicate that with people and like make people understand. Because I remember a couple of times throughout the first trimester, and I hope you guys don't mind this kind of vibe, I'm just doing a chatty kind of video here. Yeah, I remember sometimes in the first trimester thinking like, why am I feeling like this? Like, I feel like really crappy and sicky, and I'd want to lay on the couch and have a nap, and I wouldn't have the energy to do this, and I'd be a bit like, why is this happening? And then I would start to remember that there is so much happening in your body, and there is so much going on. Your body's adjusting to having this human start growing in your body. There is so much happening, and you start to remember, okay, no, there is so much happening, even if people can't see it and I can't see it, there still really is. So in the first trimester, I would say there is so much happening. So don't start thinking things that, oh, you know, it's a bit like mental health, when people like, mental health, and then compare it to like a broken leg. If someone sees a broken leg, they instantly then be like, oh my god, are you okay? And they'll try and do stuff for that person, and they'll see the break, the cast, and they'll have like evidence that someone's hurt. Whereas if someone has a mental health issue, which is like depression, anxiety, anything, they can't see it, so it's not as easy to understand, and it's not as easy to remember that, oh, they have anxiety. And that's a bit like in the first trimester, it's a bit hard sometimes to remember that you're pregnant and that there's so much going on because you can't see it. So yeah, I experienced that a couple of times throughout the first trimester. Emotions were all over the place. I was very hormonal. I'm a sensitive person anyway. You just ask anyone that knows me, they will agree that I am a very sensitive person. So my emotions were even more heightened. I am a Pisces though, so kind of makes sense. All my water signs out there will understand that. So yeah, the emotional was quite heightened, and it's very new, and you've got to give yourself time to adjust, and don't put pressure on yourself to do stuff, to be a certain way. If you don't want to do anything, just say, look after yourself. Yeah, just be there for yourself. So that's a bit of like the emotional part. But now I'm going to get on to the kind of symptoms that I had in the first trimester. So I've already kind of touched on sickness. I was quite lucky because I didn't actually physically vomit. I was more just feeling sick. And so I know some women struggle with actually physically being sick and having to go on tablets, going to hospital. So I felt very fortunate in that aspect of things, but it also was tough feeling sick, and like the feeling just was like not leaving and not going. So it was quite frustrating. But what I done, because what I'll say is I'll say my symptom, and then I'll go on to say something, and talk about anything that helped me maybe with it. So the sickness, I actually, for the first few weeks, I just kind of put up with, and I basically just tried to rest as much as I could, because when you fall asleep you don't necessarily know you feel sick, so that kind of helped. I couldn't, so we have 2 cats, Romeo and Rosie, and we have a dog, Roxy, I don't know if you know that, and I couldn't do their cat food. Like I couldn't feed them in the mornings, I couldn't do Roxy's food because it literally just made me feel so sick. I found it hard to brush my teeth with toothpaste because that made me feel sick. And so Reese had to do all of the animals' food. I found it really hard to look at raw meat. I couldn't like cook, I couldn't eat raw, like I could eat meat but I couldn't see it raw, if you get what I mean. Like cutting up chicken, like I couldn't do that. So Reese would have to quite a lot of the time cook most nights, because preparing food and that I just could not do because it just made me feel sick. So there's some of the things that affected the sickness. I was just like crazy. Some of the things that I found that did help with sickness was Lucozade Sport. It has 0 caffeine in it. Not the fizzy Lucozade, Lucozade Sport ones helped with sickness because there was a bit of sugar, and also sugary sweets helped, like just sucking on a sour sweet, or like just it doesn't have to be sour, just a sweet of some sort did help. Polos helped as well because the peppermint was really good. Well, anything minty helped, seemed to kind of ease the sickness as well. So the Lucozade Sport helped, fizzy or just sweets helped, peppermint polos helped as well. Anything else that helped me with sickness? Oh, making sure that because when you feel sick you don't want to eat, which is perfectly normal, but I actually found that when I'd eat, the sickness would die down for a little bit. It was short-lived, but it did die down. So I tried to eat not something big. I didn't try and eat all the time. I didn't eat huge meals. It was more, oh god, gas. It was more like some crackers, something like that wasn't too, like nothing spicy. Like I couldn't really eat overly spicy food, stuff that I had, more plain stuff that I thought would like help me with the sickness. Or I'd eat crisps, was quite cool for me. Crisps were quite helped with the sickness as well. And ice cubes helped. Just having loads of ice, to be fair, that's a thing throughout my whole pregnancy at the moment, is just having drinks with loads of ice in. But just sucking on ice cubes helped as well. I don't know whether it was the coldness of it or just, you know. So that was the first thing. I also had a lot of tiredness. Like I felt tired 24/7, and that is so normal with pregnancy, especially in your first trimester. And when I talk about this, like stuff that happened in the first trimester, it doesn't mean that like it can't happen in the second trimester or the third trimester. Like right now I'm in my second trimester filming this, and there's still some stuff that happens. And sometimes I remember watching these type of videos and I remember thinking, oh, okay, so I'm meant to be tired in my first trimester, but what if I'm tired in my second? Is that wrong? Should I worry? And to be fair, I don't, like I said, I'm no professional, but from my personal experience, there's no set rules for how you should feel. Like some women, bless them, experience sickness throughout their whole pregnancy. Some women don't. Some women don't even experience sickness in their first trimester. So it's different, like I said, for every single person. And so please take what I'm saying lightly, and you know, if it resonates that's good in a way, kind of, because you resonate and feeling sick isn't too great, but you get what I mean. And obviously if it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's okay too. So yeah, I just want to put that little, I guess, disclaimer there as well. But yeah, I was tired so much, and I was literally sitting there and I just fall asleep. I'd be like this, just sitting on the sofa like, oh my god, I cannot keep my eyes open. Like, I remember when we used to come back from work, I'd be gone by like 5 o'clock, and he'd like sit on the sofa and be watching something, and I'd be like half asleep on the sofa. And it actually wasn't too bad for me, because I struggled with sleep quite a lot before being pregnant, and I was so tired that I remember I just used to be like a log in bed and just sleep, which was great in a way. But also what helped me with tiredness was, I say helped, I just listened to my body. When I was tired, I tried to rest, and obviously that's not as easy as it is for some people. Still try and, like, you know, let yourself rest as much as you can, or even give yourself 5 minutes where you can just have a little breather, have a drink, just, you know, look after yourself in that aspect. But yeah, I felt just drained and tired, and I actually had to cancel some plans because I just didn't have the energy to do anything. So that was another symptom of the first trimester. Recap. I put worrying down, which I've kind of touched on with the mental health kind of emotional thing at the beginning, but there was a lot of worry and a lot of like, oh, is this okay, what's gonna happen, which is really normal. And sending hugs to anyone out there that is going through that. I put heartburn as well, because I've heard people say that heartburn and acid can be really annoying in pregnancy, and they can experience it, and mine started coming straight away, even more, like, worse than before. So I actually got put on omeprazole, which is a very common tablet that pregnant people go on for to help with heartburn and your acid. So if you're out there and you're suffering with heartburn, acid, go and see your GP and have a talk with them. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a professional, but that's what helped me. So yeah, I had period like aches. So you know, like when you come on your period or just before, you get that really achy feeling, like it's just like, oh my god, you feel like you've just been like hit in your stomach down. You're like, oh my god, it just aches, where you just want to get a hot water ball. I got that quite a lot. I felt like I was gonna come on my period multiple times, and I just obviously just didn't. But I think that's just to do with pregnancy, with things stretching, things moving. So yeah, I got period like aches quite a lot in pregnancy. Things that helped me with that was I had a hot water ball, but I didn't have it as hot as before, because obviously being pregnant, and I had it more on my back area because it kind of radiated around my back, which really helped. It was kind of like a lukewarm hot water ball. And also Reese gave me a couple massages, and I was really lucky when it comes to that, so that helped as well. So if you've got someone out there, just, you know, ask for a massage. At the end of the day, you're growing a human. So the next thing was my cravings, as in like food, what I was craving. So obviously I felt sick quite a lot, but there were certain things that I just really craved, and one of them was mash and gravy. Like thick gravy and creamy mash. I was just obsessed with it. I just wanted just a bowl of mash and just thick gravy all on it, just to munch down. And my mum done it quite a lot for me. To be fair, my mum cooked for me quite a lot in the first trimester, as well as Reese. They kind of like intertwined into doing me different stuff. Reese cooked me mash and gravy, my mum cooked me mash and gravy, had some veg sometimes. But to be fair, I found it really hard to eat healthy in the first trimester, because things like broccoli, things like all the healthy stuff, fruit, I just was not craving and could not eat a lot of. So don't be hard on yourself. All the goodness that you've already got in your body is going towards a baby anyway, so it's kind of, the baby's fine, it's more you that kind of suffers with tiredness and that. But yeah, I wanted to be like on the green shakes from the get-go. I find out I'm pregnant, I could not stomach that. I could not stomach spinach shakes. I can hardly stomach them in everyday life, and I don't have them every day either. Also, I was really craving toast with butter and spaghetti or beans. It's like that kind of, I just wanted some toast with some quite a lot of butter and some spaghetti or beans. I was really craving as well. So that was my cravings. Oh, I also did buy in the first trimester, I bought a pregnancy pillow, and I had in my head that like you're not meant to buy a pregnancy pillow till later on in your pregnancy, but I was already suffering with like aches and pains, and I just thought, why not get one if it's going to help? So what I'll do is I'll link anything that I talk about, I will link below if I can, if I bought online, so you guys could click on it and see. I bought one off of Amazon and it's been really good. I still have it now, obviously, and from like, I found out I was pregnant when I was about 4 or 5 weeks, and I think I've been using that pregnancy pillow since week 7, maybe week 7 or 8, and it's just helped so much. Like even just comfort, something hugging you. It's quite a big one I got, so it proper hugs you and makes you feel supported. So that did help as well. Having a pregnancy pillow as well helped a lot in the first trimester. I think along with also the tiredness, I felt quite weak, as in I remember cramp in my foot. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, as well as feeling tired in my first trimester, I also felt really weak. I remember trying to open up like a jar or something like that and just couldn't do it. And so Reese had to come over and do it for me, because I think you're just so much of your energy and everything is going to that baby. So yeah, and so I think that's all of the symptoms that I kind of had in the first trimester. Also, what I will say in the first trimester is that don't feel pressured to tell people. I really took my time with telling who I wanted to. Obviously sometimes it can feel very like, you can feel pressure to tell people, to let everyone know, and you might really want to, and if that's the case, if you want to tell everyone straight away, tell everyone straight away. It's completely personal preference, but I'm just trying to speak. Oh, gas, so gassy. That'll be a second trimester symptom. All I'm saying is don't feel pressured to have to tell people. It's your news, it's your journey, it's your baby, it's yours and your partner's baby, and you will decide when you want to tell people. Don't let other people put pressure on you. Don't feel like you have to tell people right now, or like I said, if that's something you did want to do, that's completely fine too. It's just about listening to you and how you feel, because at the end of the day, it's your news, it's your story to tell. And so focus on yourself, and focus on looking after yourself, and just trying to cope with the changes and the new feelings and sensations in your body, and tell people when you want to tell them. I ended up telling my mum and dad, I think literally the day after I found out I was pregnant, but that's because the whole story with being in hospital and my mum was with me, so that was kind of all intertwined. And to be fair, it's quite hard for me to keep things from my mum because I'm pretty close with her and we see each other a lot. So but other than them and Reese's mum, we didn't actually tell people until, so we told close family members around just before, or no, actually we didn't tell anyone else till after our 12-week scan. Tell a lie, I told Megs just before that, my best friend. I told her before that, but other than Megs, we didn't tell anyone else till after the 12-week scan. And I think that was just because we wanted to just see everything was okay. And there is such a big thing on like wait until 12 weeks, because obviously that's when you get your first initial scan, and to see everything's okay. And I think that's perfectly normal, but like I said, it's perfectly fine and normal to tell people before if that's your preference. It's completely down to you as a person, as a couple, as, you know, a human. But yeah, we didn't actually tell anyone until after that. And so yeah, don't feel pressured to have to tell people when you you just need to focus on you. And yeah, I think that is everything. I think I've discussed, oh, another thing just quickly, obviously like I said at the beginning, it's quite overwhelming to have to think about what to do with midwives, with contacting like the hospital, arranging scans. What really helped me was writing stuff down, making some lists, because for me, I'm quite a visual person. You might be a person who's more likes to hear stuff or listen to people, whereas I'm more of a visual person, so for me writing stuff down and actually seeing it out helps a lot. And so when I was trying to figure out what to do with like midwife, how to get in contact and arrange scans, I just basically wrote everything down and then went from there, and that helped a lot to organise my thoughts and what I needed to do next. So if that's you and you benefit off of visual stuff, I would say just try and make a list of like things that are on your mind, even if they're like things that you think are insignificant. I'm sure they're not, but like for me in the first trimester, I'm still doing it now, I journal every day, which helps a lot. But from the first trimester, journaling, writing stuff down, what I needed to do or figure out, really did help as well. So yeah, and also meditating. Admittedly I didn't do it an overlot in the first trimester because I just felt crappy, but I remember sometimes I had energy and I thought, you know what, having a meditation might really help me, and it did calm me, because your anxiety can be pretty high sometimes in your first trimester. Like I say again, I'm talking just from personal preference here, personal personal experience. So yeah, but that was my first trimester recap, tips, everything. I really hope you enjoyed it and you found some sort of comfort in this video. And yeah, I really hope you're doing well, pregnant mama. And if you're not pregnant, also I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, guys. Thanks so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.